Let me just send the link in Twitter. So I see you, Lime. Sorry, I'm not going to be interacting too much with the chat at first. I have a few things I want to say, stuff I need to get out of my chest. So, well, here we go. First of all, I'm not the leader of anyone. I'm not trying to tell anyone what to do, how to behave, what to say, or how to say it. I'm just giving my point of view about how we interact with the SJWs. So here we go. I don't care about your census characteristics. I don't give a damn about those because those don't tell me anything about who you are. If, on the other hand, you tell me you're a socialist, a communist, a liberal, a libertarian, a conservative, a Nazi, etc., then I at least have some basis to start knowing who you are, because those are ideologies, because those will shape how you think and act. Funny enough, most anti-racists care deeply about your race, as if all blacks, Latinos, Asians, etc., had the same ideologies, thought process, and even values. It's this train of thought that made me months ago say comic book fans, critics shouldn't be talking about the sex, sexuality, looks, race, or even gender identity of the creator of the books. What difference does it make if someone has children or not? Do all parents think alike? Do all women think alike? Do all gays think alike? No, no, and no. What difference does it make if the writer has a certain haircut and or color? Are we going to go the gingers have no soul route? Like I said, not trying to curtail your free speech or to denounce anyone. It's your right to talk as you wish and to even be a dick if you so choose. Just informing you that if you go about criticizing the books in such a way, you're doing us all comic book fans a huge disservice and giving ammo to those that will label us bigots. Evidence, quote unquote, to present to the normies of us being some kind of East. They will do it anyway. Why do we have to give them any kind of evidence, quote unquote, as flimsy as you wish to present about those claims? We don't. Hell, it's not as if those books have nothing to be criticized about without needing to even mention any of those things about the creators. In contrast, not many include points much more valid about the creator of X books. For instance, Bloody Blab wants to smash cis assholes in the teeth with a baseball bat, or how Brubri Brubre is against interracial couples, or how Truku Truk hates men. Those are valid criticism and stuff the possible buyer needs to be informed of. We need to focus on the quality of the books and in the evident bigotry of some of those creators, not on their census characteristics. We need to stop giving attention to nobodies, to stop going to their timelines to talk to them, to stop quoting them. If you want to showcase the ignorance, bigotry, stupidity, or craziness, you don't need to direct quote them. You only need a screen cap and to edit out their names. This is the way I think we should go about. But again, you can do whatever you want. I'm not the leader of anyone and have been guilty of the exact same things. So I'm not throwing any stones, just asking you to consider my words. And if you find anything of value, to adopt them as your own. About the creators, them we can show names. But we need also to remember that engaging is mostly futile. About 1 in 1,000 will ever really consider anything you say, and of those, even less will ever change their minds. So, do not contact is still the best policy. Showcase their bigotry by archiving what they say and by screen capping every scrap of evidence. Finally, not every character that now is black, brown, female, etc., is an SJW character. A character that has been dead for over 30 years and whose super identity is now given to someone else is not an SJW character per se. SJW characters are all Marisus, perfect, boring, constantly being validated, never face any real challenges, never grow, never fail. Notice the sex, religion, color, etc. are not part of those traits. Like them or not, you can't make a case of Jessica Cruz and Simon Bass being SJW characters. Neither can you about Apollo and Midnighter, Batwoman, Superwoman, Wonder Woman, Steel, Cyborg, War Machine, Storm, etc. You can point cases where some have been written badly, and even written as an SJW character, but they aren't in themselves an SJW character. Hell, even America Chavez wasn't always the racist Gabi Rivera wrote her. Didn't we all got mad when Ta-Nehisi Coates wrote Storm as a black separatist? So, before we make a criticism, we should think exactly what is it that made us go, you shouldn't buy this book. Like I have said before, not your leader, not innocent of making those same mistakes, not trying to limit your free speech or to denounce anyone, just trying to make us produce better criticism, better content, because I believe this is important in the long run. We need to stop creating outrage. We need to be smart about how we go about these things. Someone says some bigoted thing about the fans. Fine. It's a creator? Okay. Then we go to town. We we email, we write letters to the publisher, showcasing it. First of all, we need to use archive.is so they can't erase it, so they can't say we edited the screen cap. And that link, the link from archive.is, is the one we send to their publishers. Is the one we try to call attention from the main press. Right now, because Mr. Tentacle Porn paid attention to us. Sorry, forgot his name. Court something. He paid attention to us. Well, right now, at least 450-something thousand eyes were drawn in our direction. They are looking. They are watching us. They are listening to us. So we need to be smart. We need to be careful, not because we have we fear them. No, because we don't want to give them ammo to use against us. We need to be smart about how we do things. We need to be careful about how we talk about these people. I really believe we need to stop making certain kind of jokes. If you do it, more power to you, man. But I'm not going to do it, and I'm not going to retweet that kind of stuff. Not going to erase it either from my tweets or don't. It's your problem. I'm not going to become the police, okay? But I'm not going to engage in that. What we need to do is to show our power, and our power is in our wallets. Our power is in the books we buy, because they don't buy comic books. They pirate them. We need to show our power. And yes, part of that power is boycotting publishers, boycotting writers, boycotting artists that are hateful, bigoted against us. We need to show our power. We have already one hashtag going to use for showcasing our buying power. We need to keep that hashtag clean, and we need to keep it going ever stronger, ever stronger. Keep tagging publishers, keep tagging artists, keep tagging comic book stores, keep tagging the press about that. Make them pause, make them take notice of who is really buying their products and what products are being bought. We need to either the Comicsgate tag or a different one, I don't know, in order to keep making everybody know about the way these people behave, about the way these people treat their customers. Okay? Now, if I make a certain kind of joke, well, you and I know it's a joke, and you and I know they are going to say it's not, and that it's bigotry. So if I make that kind of a joke and they jump on me, I don't think you should go there and start calling them names. We need to keep our cool. This is why not engaging is one of the most important things we need to do, especially not engaging with the nobodies, okay? With people that really have no say in what books are printed or published. They don't work in the industry. We need to stop engaging with them. Now, Bleeding Stool, it's a valid target as a publication. We need to treat the people there with a certain amount of respect. Not go low like them. we need to go high. We need to keep talking about what is really our complaints. Our complaints are not about, and never were, about the color or the sex or the sexuality of the characters of or the creators. Our complaints were about them changing just because our characters into something else, and then to add to that injury, they wrote them like shit. Who would want to read about those characters? Who would want to buy those books? I don't. I don't want to read them. I don't want to buy them. All this outrage doesn't really benefit us. We need to stop giving them the outrage. We need to keep our cool. They benefit from it because even if their books don't sell, they earn victim points. They earn oppression bucks. We need to deny them that. So talk about them, talk around them, don't engage with the creators. Never. Never, never, never. Like I said, archive, screen cap, share. You tag the publisher, you tag the press that is willing to talk about it. Not many of them are. And if they go to your timeline and try to engage with you, you don't fall for their bait. It's always bait. They are looking for you or someone else in your timeline to fall for it. They are looking for someone that will get angry and say something stupid. And the best way not to get angry and not to say something stupid is ignore them. Okay? Ignore them. Do not engage. Oh, you're a Nazi. Yeah. Whatever you want to call me. Oh, you're this. Yes, of course, yes. It doesn't make me so. Whatever they call me, it doesn't make me so. Sticks and stones, guys. Sticks and stones. We are giving them clicks. We are giving them my outrageous. We are giving them clicks. We're giving them victim points by engaging. We need to stop engaging. We need to stop talking with them, not about them. Those are two different things. Baiting them. Okay, yes, baiting them. But we don't need to do anything to bait them. They bait themselves. Because it doesn't matter what we say. They will try to engage. Always. You see them. They come by themselves. This woman Perez, she's a bigot. Yes, she's a bigot. I'm not ever going to buy a book by her. Ever. And if Image doesn't do something, well, there go all the Image books I was buying. And they were some. They were not one or two. Okay? Yes, Crumple. Yes. No retweets, No article clicks, no comments. Yes, we need to starve them of the attention they want. And yes, Commander, yes, the drama has become the focus. And that's not what all of this started for. The drama doesn't really does anything for us. Let them create their own drama. Let them, mm, as long as we don't resort to their to name calling and all that, we're only giving them rope to hang themselves. You know, we only need to keep doing what we have been doing. This is a list of toxic creators. Boom. But with the proof, with the evidence of what the creator said, of what the creator did. And blocking people doesn't make him a toxic creator. Okay, it makes someone that blocks you just because it's a stupid person. Yes, but it's not real. That in itself doesn't make that person toxic. It could be just a stupid person. Okay, or it could be that someone convinced that person that we all are just, bigots. We need to be smart about how we are doing things. I have been loving the videos by Umbrella. You know that Umbrella guy. If you ever heard this, man, you are the best journalist in all the comic book industry. That Umbrella guy, right now. There's nobody better than him as a journalist. Haven't seen yet his criticism, his review videos. Yeah, he's searching. He's doing a lot of stuff, and he's doing it by himself mostly. And I don't know. He's really doing good stuff there. We need to keep sharing those videos because he's on point. He's on point. He's not wrong in what he says. I know, I know. Oh, no, 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 no. Blacklists are bad. Blah 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 blah. No, 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 no. Let's be honest, okay? Most of us weren't going to buy books by those people anyway. We had that list in our heads already, or maybe written down somewhere. So making it public, I don't see anything wrong with that, as long as we make it smart, as long as we do it in the right way. Toxic creators. And why? Here's the proof. Gaby Rivera is a racist. Boom. Here's the evidence. Max, well, she's a bigot. Here's the evidence. And so on and so on. But people like Darryl, who's he? He's a nobody. So by going against him, we only benefit him. And we gain nothing because we are going against a nobody. Yes, yes, Crumple. Many of us had that list in our heads. It was an overreaction by some, and it was partly the overreaction was because EVS said something, and DNC said something against the list too. Okay, I don't know why so many of us. I love EVS. Okay, don't get me wrong. I love him, but he's not God, and he's not my leader. Okay, he's a great creator. I think he's a good human being, but he's not my leader. I'm not doing what he says because he said it. If I ever do what he says is because I heard, thought, and decided it was a smart thing to do, not because he said it. And we need to start acting like that, all of us. We need to start thinking by ourselves. We have no leader. Who's our leader? I'm no leader. I'm a nobody, not even 100 subscribers in YouTube, a video or two a week, mostly talking about comics and shit posting and laughing. I'm a nobody. Even those among you here in the chat, Crumple and all the other people that have way more subscribers than I do in YouTube and in Twitter, you're not my leader. Yes, Revered, there is no leader. I am Spartacus. Remember, I am Spartacus. They can't win if there's no leader. They can't win because even if by some miracle they find that they manage to completely destroy, I don't know who, DNC, okay? Let's say he really has some really, really, really bad skeletons in his closet, and they find out about them and get the evidence, okay? Who cares? He's not our leader. Yes, we have a common goal. We want good comic books. We want our classic characters back. We want the creators to stop talking shit about us. And then some of us, some, not all, but some of us want those toxic people out of a job. I don't want them in Marvel. I don't want them in DC. I don't want them in the companies I buy my comics from. If they want to make their own company, more power to them. And if there's other bigots that want to buy their stuff, go ahead. Show me that you can. Hey, Florence, how are you? Show me that you can make it without using Iron Man, without using Spider-Man, without using Storm, without using Carol Danvers. Show me that you can make your own characters, write your own stories, and that there's a market for that. Because so far, Comics Perch, okay, Comics Perch, he's a store owner, okay? He was saying today in the morning, early afternoon, he was saying that he would love for all the people that are angry about the supposed new fresh start from Marvel to go to his store and buy all the unsold comics from 2 years of PC comic publishing. Okay? They are killing those stores. They are getting people out of a job. Yes, it fits with EVS character. And well, I don't love DNC, and I don't hate him, but I don't love him. He has some good points sometimes, and he has some good insight because of the insiders that talked with him. But I wouldn't say he really rallied us. Okay, this was already going before he got really involved deeply in it. You know, many of us got angry when they went after him, but it wasn't. That wasn't the start of it. You know, it might be when it reached boiling point, but that's all. And yes, no one disagreed with the principle. All they say, "Oh, don't write it down. Don't make it public." Why not? Why not? They have the same kind of lists. They know who they will try to get fired. They know who they will try that never gets a job in the industry. And if they find your real name, they know that they want to destroy you, even if you don't work in the industry, just because you have talked against their religion, their fucking cult. Sick and tired, really, man. I'm sick and tired of these people. Completely pissed off about them. Okay, going to invite a couple of you to jump in. Just a couple, please. If you want to come in, Crumple, Rebirth, anyone that wants to jump in, feel free. There's the link. Just for a little while, I think about 30 minutes, maybe an hour. I'm really, I'm pissed. I'm disappointed. I'm worried. I am, fuck, a quickie. Okay, no homo, man. These people are playing some of us like a violin, you know? We need to stop dancing at their tune. We need to start making our own moves. We need to start being smart. We need to listen to some people that were in Gamergate and who have been giving us advice. I don't remember his name right now. He was in a tweet talking with me and blah, 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 blah. Who was it? It was Mekaniki. He was in a tweet talking with us. And he was giving really good advice. And we need to start listening to that kind of advice from people that were in our place before us. Because even those of us that were aware of Comicsgate, I was not really in it, I was around it. I was aware of the sad puppies stuff too. And these people are going for broke. It's going to get loud there soon. Eh? Why? Are you going to start with a hydraulic hammer or something. So we need to be smart. We need to be careful about how we say things and to whom we say things. Okay, I really think we need to keep archiving things and stop talking to them. Talk about them, but not with them. We need to be smart. Oh yes, yes. My kid is 17, so no noise if I tell him to. Yours are way younger, I assume. We need to really start thinking about PR, public relations. How does it look for the normie? Because it's the normies that are going to be the deciding factor in all of this work. And it's not about comics only. Okay? If you play D&D, they are there too. If you play Magic the Gathering, they are there too. If you play video games, they are there too. If you like to use open source software, they are there too. Okay, they are going for every single bit of geek and nerd space they can get their hands in. Link isn't working. Oh, come on. Let me see what I can do about it. Send it you in Twitter, man. Let's see if that one in Twitter. Yes, we have to be better, but not in the way that some of us say, because that was an argument against the list. And I think that we don't need to hamper ourselves in some ways. We need to use the tools we have as long as we have it, as we use them in a smart way. Hey, Crumple. Can't hear you, man. Crumple. I can't hear you. Do you hear me?
Hey, 2 seconds, man. Something's come up.
No,
in
no
real
problem.
life.
No problem.
I'll be back in a bit, sorry.
Okay. So we need to be smart about how we do things. It's not about not doing certain things. It's not about not making lists, because we all were doing that. Okay? Yellow Flash only shared his. But how are we better than them if when they say, "Oh, you're a fucking white male," and if we make the same kind of arguments as them, if we use their sex or their race or their sexuality or their gender identity, quote unquote, as an argument, okay? That's not an argument, because there's people on our side that are trannies. There's people on our side that are gay. that are lesbian, that are women, that are blacks, that are Latinos, como yo. So, what kind of an argument are we doing when we use census characteristics, the stuff that doesn't matter? It doesn't really matter. Okay? If we're going to say this character or that is a yes, exactly, Commander. That's what they do. They creep up the spaces, you know. They start with the forums where we get together. They start with comic forums. They start with video games forums. And little by little, they become administrators. No, not administrators. It's the administrator is the wrong word. The people below the administrator, but they get that power and they start banning people that don't think like them, and they start getting the other fuck. What was the title? Oh, well, they try to get anybody in power that doesn't think like them out of the forum, and then it doesn't matter if they are only 20 or 30. Moderator, yes, moderator. Thank you, Commander. It doesn't matter if they are only 20 or 30, you know, because they will manage to make it look like they are many more. They will make huge scandals about stuff that nobody cares. Okay? And they go to Twitter and they make a show about it. Oh, Marvel is canceling LGBT books. No, Marvel is canceling books that don't sell. Yeah? When the vice president of sales of Marvel made the infamous people don't want female or black or blah 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 led books, what he was doing was blaming us, saying we were bigots, in such a way that he could say, well, but I didn't say that. And the funny part was that the SJWs are so stupid that went after him. Okay? It's not about the diversity. It never was. It's about stop doing stupid shit. Stop writing and publishing badly written books. It's about stop gender swapping and race swapping characters. Make new characters. Okay? Nobody's saying that the silencer should be a white straight male. Why? Because it's a new character. Nobody's saying that Jessica Cruz and Simon Bass should be white straight males, because those are new characters. And Green Lantern, it's a mantle, it's a title, it's a job. They are space cops. So we don't make we have no problem with that. I have said it. I have said many times that I love Apollo and Midnighter. Those are great characters. And Midnighter is a psycho. He kills people and he likes killing people. And they are gay. and they are gay married too, and they adopted. It wasn't Sparks, Jenny Quantum. They adopted Jenny Quantum in one of the volumes. So that's not the problem. Who's saying that Static should be a white boy? Nobody. And who complained when they made those books and when they made the TV show? Nobody. Because it's not about diversity. We need to stop talking about diversity. Every time we fall for that, we're falling in their trap. It's not about diversity, forced or otherwise. It's about badly written books by bigots, by toxic creators who badmouth the consumer and who, for no reason, gender bend and race swap the characters only to get us mad, only to get us to stop buying the books. It's what they want. That's all they want. They want us out of the hobby. They want us out of our culture, of something we created, of something people much older than me started back in the 40s and the 50s, the 30s. We are the geeks, they are the bullies. We need to show who is the bully. We can't bully them. And we can't allow it to be presented as if we are bullying them. Okay? So if what was the name of this woman? The one in the oh, what was the name of this woman? Michelle Perez. Michelle Perez. If Michelle Perez says some horrible and stupid shit, is it any good that all of DNC followers or 10% of them go to her timeline and start talking shit to her? No. Even if they go there and try to be reasonable, it will be twisted as if we are bullying them, as if we are harassing them. So don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Be smart. Talk about, not with, not to them. It's this is going to be a very long war, okay? If you think that, like some said, that we have won if Marvel really goes and brings back the characters and starts writing them as they should. I see you, Crumple.
Hello.
Hello, how are you? If you think that we have won, you're wrong. If you think that if breeding stool gets some kind of policy and then we won, you're wrong. The only way we can win is by making it so that any publisher would never hire someone like Max Bisaggio or like Gabi Rivera, not because one is a trans woman or the other is a lesbian. No, because one is a sexist, that a violent sexist, and the other one is a racist.
They're also both guilty of, I don't know what you would call it, the reverse homophobia of some kind, because they both hate straight people and go on rants about straight people regularly.
Yeah.
Whereas if you or I were to do that about homosexual people, we would, and rightly so, we would be severely castigated, and we would lose our jobs, and that's the way it should be. But it should work both ways.
Yes, or not at all. Heterophobia is the word you were searching for.
Sorry?
Heterophobia.
Yeah, I was trying to think if there was a better one, because that's a kind of a joke now, but that is the word, isn't it?
That's the word. If you are going to think that there's something like homophobia, then there's something like heterophobia too.
And it doesn't. Part of the thing I talk about to people is it can be offensive when people are talking about you in a general term like that, but you have to remember that that's your ego talking, and it's your choice to take offense to that. Unless they're speaking to you as a person, it's not. They don't know you. They've never met you. They're just speaking, and
stick and
try and take it as such.
Stick and stones, man. Okay, I don't really care much about what they think. You know, I care about what they say, because if I said the same things about lesbians or about trans people, I would be in hot water, you know. So what's good for the gander.
Work out what really bothered me about it, because it still does bother me, and it's not because I'm offended, and I was trying to work out what it is. And the reason it bothers me is because of their colleagues and people who read their stuff, who would be influenced by them, but more so who would be feel bullied and intimidated by them. Because if somebody's going off on rants like that, and then that's the generally accepted way of behaving, I feel sorry for that person's colleagues.
Yes.
And I feel sorry for their potential fans, readers, kids who would be reading that sort of thing thinking it's acceptable.
Yes, exactly. No, Commander, I don't think we need to get out of YouTube or Twitter. I think we need to find someone in the press that is willing to talk with us and who's willing to really, really present our case. It might be Kurt, tentacle porn guy, you know? It might be him. I don't know. we might try it. Nobody else is trying. And he did talk about it, you know? I don't care if he's a lefty. I don't care if he's a communist. He seems to be a good person. And honestly, if he had only went yes, I like hentai porn, so most people wouldn't mind. You know, they laugh at him because oh, no, I was showing my wife. Yeah. and who knows, maybe he was. I don't believe it, but, well, maybe he was.
Well, going back to your point about diversity in comics and skeletons in the closet, it doesn't matter who's making the argument if the argument is valid.
Yes, when you are a logical person, but we are not going against logical persons.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if the guy loves tentacle porn and is a raging lefty but speaks the truth, then
yes. But what I mean is, how do I say this? Okay, you don't manage to make the society change with logic, because most people aren't logic. Most people go by their feelings. Okay, So what we need to do is make good arguments, logical arguments, backed by evidence, but we need to make them in a fifi way, you know. We need to touch their fifis in a good way. The
Yeah,
normies,
I agree with you. I think that's how you get the first,
you know.
the first step, because what
Yes.
you do is if they're already thinking emotionally, then do you know it's like trying to talk down somebody who is angry in a nightclub or in the street, who's maybe attacking you verbally,
Yeah.
and it's like trying to talk them down. You don't go straight with the rationale.
No.
Firstly you try and appeal to them on an emotional level, you get them calm, and then you appeal to them on a rational level.
Yes.
You don't lead with logic, or that just infuriates them even more.
Yes, exactly.
And I think in regards to the press, I think we just need to become that press. I don't think there's anybody that will really listen. I don't think that the press is as influential as they were. I think we just need to replace them.
Yes, in the long run, we need to replace them.
Oh, you're talking about like tomorrow. What do we do?
Yes, I'm talking about right now. What do we need? We need people like Kurt, people who will listen and who will say, okay, come on, this isn't good. This isn't right. You know?
That's fair enough.
And people that have a bigger audience, bigger reach than we do. You know, we need, I don't know, we need Milo, we need
that author David Stewart that I spoke to, he got in touch with me because he was he's into nerd stuff, but it's more the sci-fi fantasy film side, and comics are kind of a gap in his a gap in his knowledge, and he's a very knowledgeable guy, and he wanted to know some more about it, and a very small channel, was able to go on his reasonably large, well, a very large channel. I think he's 20,000 subs, and I was able to put our point across to that larger audience. Now, if we can continue to do that with people, then very slowly we're going to gain more and more momentum, because that's how it started. I mean, he wasn't interested in Comicsgate at the very start, but he's interested in it now that we're making a lot of noise, and then we make more noise and get more people interested.
Yes, and these people are going to do stupid shit anyway. We don't need to bait them, you know.
Yeah, I'm fully believe in do not engage. You don't give them ammunition, because the thing is, people need to realize, and you know, if you know this, then I'm not lecturing you because you already know it. But you know, people in the chat and stuff. But if it's not a fair playing ground, they own or control the platforms.
Yes.
So they can have us kicked off. They can have us muted. They can have us put into a little box. That's why we have to avoid using certain keywords if we want to be discoverable, and the algorithm treat us well. So this is not an even debate. We need to think smart about this and acknowledge our weaknesses, or we're never going to beat them.
Exactly. We are David, and they are Goliath.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a good analogy in that was David not a shepherd? So we're looking after people, and they are being destructive and trying to hurt people.
Yes, exactly. And this is why the Not Your Shield tag is a good one. We need to use it more, you know, because there are a lot of us that aren't straight white males. We need
I mean, it's a huge straw man.
Yes, we need to give the women, to give the blacks, the gays, the whatever. We need to give them a voice, you know. People like Rebirth, people like Feisty, you know. We need to give them a voice, because they are hurting them. Okay.
Yeah, and this isn't the same as tokenism, right? Because this is, like you say, it's giving them a voice, because they are saying, "Hi, I'm here. I'm a woman. I disagree with you," and they're being shouted over.
Yes.
So it's our job we're not sticking them on a panel because we need a token women. We are saying, excuse me, you just completely ignored this person. that is trying to disprove you.
Exactly.
But I feel that that'll happen organically. You know, we're all developing friendships and stuff here, so I don't think it's a thing we need to plan on doing, but it is something we need to keep in mind. That
yes, and we need to keep on talking that we are not all of us are conservative people. For instance, I'm not. I'm a libertarian. Not all of us are Christians. I'm an atheist, and there are some other. I'm not the only one. I'm not an American. I'm a Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we need to keep reminding because we need to counteract their narrative.
Yeah, and I completely agree with the do not engage policy, and with what you're saying. We need to do that on our terms. We need to do it on our videos. So we need to stop engaging them on their platforms saying, "Oh, but hey, I'm a Mexican," or "Hey, I'm a liberal," or whatever. We need to completely ignore their posts, go to our platforms, and address them there in full.
Yes. Not ignore them, but not talk with them. Talk about them.
Yeah, and if they want to come and speak to us, fine, but don't fall into the trap. I mean, we had the thing of there's been many people on my channel where I've been worried that I was going to get my bloody Twitter shut down because certain people would come on or appear in my mentions, and I'm like, if somebody says something to this person, this is what I mean about the uneven playing field. Yes. If somebody insults this person on my timeline, it's my timeline that gets shut down. And so you've got to think of people like Ethan, like Diversity, and people like that. So if you insult a creator on a thread started by Ethan, for instance, you might get Ethan's thing taken down. So just don't, remember your ego is the one that's angry about this. And if it's a real point you want to address, you can step away and you can address it on your own platform more intellectually after you've thought about it for a little while. Don't just jump in.
Yes, exactly. We don't fall in their trap. Don't act with your gut. Act with your brain. Calm down. Think about it. Write a good comeback, a good script. Do a video. Do a blog post if you have a blog.
Yeah, and the thing is that's the point. Is there's so many ways to address it that you'll find that in the process of addressing an argument on your own terms in a structured way where you've had to sit and think about it for a little while, what you'll find is it either doesn't annoy you as much as it initially did, and you don't need to talk about it, or you'll realize exactly why it annoys you, and you'll be able to channel that frustration in a creative way by making something rather than just shouting at somebody. You will be making a video or making a blog post, or if you want to put it into a meme or drawings, do that. For your own, like let's put the politics and the tactics aside here. For your own personal sanity and your own psychological well-being, you need to find healthy outlets for this annoyance.
Yes, completely agree, man. Oops, I lost counterpoint. He dropped out. Okay. So, yes, Rebirth, they gender bent you and they race swiped you. I don't know how they did it. Must be magic. Perhaps a news site that actually reports both sides. Well, we have been building our own news sites, Revert, but the thing is, only we read them. Right now we need bigger platforms. We need people with bigger speakers than us. to listen and to tell our side of the story. We need to find that stuff, that people that will talk to us, and that will give us a fair shot. I don't want anybody to parrot whatever I say. He or she should go and see, talk with both sides and see the evidence and get to his own conclusion. Magic in the air tonight. Yes, switch. Yes, it's magic.
The thing is, as well, if when they claim, "Oh yeah, you're all this," they're trying to get a rise out of you. So just don't give them it.
Exactly.
You might have the most sick burn in the world to lay down on that person, but that's what they want you to do because they know that they can get you banned.
Yes. Or they can screen cap or archive and show to the world that you called them a faggot or something,
Yeah, that's what they're waiting for because, we can archive and so can they. And also don't overestimate how smart they are. I don't underestimate it, but don't overestimate it either. Sometimes they just say these things because they can't argue a complex point, so they just have to invent one. And like Geeky Bugle was saying a few moments ago, they're not rational people. They don't actually have a reason for saying a lot of this stuff other than, they're a dose behind on their meds, and they need to have an outburst.
Some of them, I really think that some of them know very well what they are doing. And they do it because the wind goes that way, because it works for them, because they manage to make a blog post and get hired by the big two, you know. So
they also know how to rile up their minions as well. Like if you look at the bigger ones, they want that plausible deniability. So what they do is they send out their dog whistle of, "Oh, here's a wrong thinker," and then they mute the post and they don't go back to it. Meanwhile, hundreds of their followers will descend on you, or their subs will. Well, they don't really do YouTube, do they? But you know what I mean. Like, and it, just again, rise above it. And like I said, I'm not Jesus. I've made stupid comments myself. I've got angry myself, but I'm trying to learn from that.
All of us have. All of us. Maybe not Edwin. Maybe he hasn't. Maybe, but most of us, yes, most of us have.
I think that Edwin is in a constant state of deep zen, though, and
yes, yes, yes. I haven't seen anybody as calm as him, with the exception with how do you say, stoner. There was a stoner I used to know. And he was just like that, okay? No, man, no, calm down. It's not just like that, but only when he was stoned.
Yes, exactly. But there's again, why is Edwin like that? Well, Edwin's like that because he has a happy marriage, a productive work life. He provides YouTube content to vent his frustration at people's silly arguments, and he tries to see the positives in things, and that's what we've got to do. That's what all of us have to do.
Yes.
And that's the thing is, if I've been more, not so much recently because I've kind of learned the lesson now, but if I see something online and I want to react to it, and then I go and make a video about it, what I do find myself doing is I find myself waiting a little while, and then I often delete the thing because it's far more rewarding to go and make something of your own and have people like that rather than engaging in the mudslinging,
Yeah.
Like, so for example, you've started a live stream for people to enjoy. Hopefully, I hope you're all enjoying.
Yeah.
Rather than going comment or insult somebody.
Well, it doesn't serve anybody, you know. It doesn't help me. It doesn't help the publishers. It doesn't help the creators that are afraid of these people. It doesn't help the comic book stores. It doesn't help other geeks.
Yep. It's interesting you use the word serve. I always think of the phrase, how does this serve me? And if I
Yes.
can't find an answer, and it doesn't, then it's not worth doing.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's not good for me, why would I? Well, I smoke, but come on. I'm not
The
perfect.
other thing is, like, people take themselves too seriously. Like, they take, if you take things too seriously, you are doomed to end up like these lunatics on the other side. Because
yes, exactly.
if you're taking yourself that seriously that you can't take a little bit of a jibe or a little bit of a mock, or you think that you're genuinely the man with the answers, then you're setting yourself up to be arrogant and to be annoyed, and to be frustrated and to be anxious. You know, you've got to not take yourself so seriously. You know,
Yeah.
have a laugh and a joke.
Yes.
Try and make it. Keep in mind that comics is supposed to be fun.
Yes, exactly. And all the geeks I always knew, they all knew how to take a joke and how to give as good as they took.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it can be extremely hard when people are attacking you or being really vicious. But like I say, remember, unless it is targeted at you, in which case just, you know, give them both barrels, sure. But unless it is targeted at you, they don't know you and they don't know what they're talking about.
If it's targeted,
and just have a laugh at how stupid they're being.
If they are really targeting you, you don't answer them. Okay, you archive, you screen cap, you report to Twitter. Use the tools they gave you against them. Those tools are there for them to use against you. Use them against them.
And I mean, yeah, like if somebody gives you the opportunity and you want to get a few digs in, fine, you might have to, because you don't want to be a pushover either. Yeah, but there is a time and a place for each course of action, you know.
Yes.
I'm getting too into the realms of telling other people how to behave, and I don't like it. But that's my piece on it. Is like, remember to laugh at yourself, and remember to laugh at them.
Well, it's an advice, you know. It's not like if you don't do that, you're not. You're against us. It's a piece of advice.
And a lot of the anxiety of it comes from this idea that they've got 100,000 followers and they said something that makes you feel stupid, and hundreds of people are laughing at you, and you're on your own. So don't be on your own. Go on Discord or start a live stream. Or I mean, a lot of I get a lot of enjoyment out of doing Flatback with Switchpoint, who's in the chat.
Yeah.
Because I know I've got, you know, and yourself, of course, Bugle, and because we have that community, and you can go and say, "Oh, this person called me a dick," and you can have a laugh about it with other people, and that immediately you'll feel so much better about it if you let it fester on your own and not feel like other people are laughing at you behind your back. Then yeah, you will get frustrated. So go and find somebody to talk to about it.
Yes, and remember, you can mute them.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's that.
You can mute them so they keep talking and talking and talking, and you don't see it.
And when you do it, imagine that they're just a tiny little person, and you're just putting a big glass over them.
Yeah. yeah. Like the spider in what was the movie? The one with Keanu Reeves as Keanu Reeves.
Oh, it wasn't Bill and Ted, was it? No.
It's a DC character.
Oh, I'm trying to think. Constantine,
yes. There's a scene with a spider in a table and a glass with cigarette smoke.
Yeah, so let them stand under the glass and go wee, 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 wee.
Read.
Well, you can't hear them.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are people who are worth engaging and arguing with. I mean,
there are some.
There's
not
sometimes
many.
you've got to stand up to these people. In that, if it's a bigger figure, sometimes you do have to stand up to them. In that, and I don't mean stand up to them in that you need to give them a row or anything. But I remember there was ages ago, Eric Larson
Yes.
had a go at Captain Cummings about something, and I was like, dude, this is not serious. You write black comedy all the time. This is very obviously a joke. Chill out. You're a public figure. It's all in good fun.
Yes.
And he just would not take it. And then, that's fine. You can't do anything more after that. Because then he started on me, and I was like, right, okay, I've had enough of this. But initially, I was like, there's a lot of people watching here. Nobody said anything to him.
Yeah.
Give him the benefit of the doubt. He's had a joke made about him. He's taken it the wrong way.
Look, they are going to red pill everybody on the long run. Okay?
Yes, they are.
We really don't need to do much. They are going to red pill everybody. Look what they did to Patch because he unblocked everybody. They went after him. Okay? They went after him. And I think that there must be some people among us that are really trolling people, There must be. I'm sure of that. But he was saying today in the morning, he was saying that he regretted unblocking everyone. And I made a comment in that, and I told him, well, maybe block only the trolls. Because if you block everybody that follows the troll, you are blocking people that are not trolling you, You are blocking people that are not insulting anybody. I try not to insult people in Twitter because I know I can get banned very easily. And I think he's starting to see that we're not all of us Nazis and this and that, He's starting to realize that they were lying to him, that not all of us are bad people, and that it's worthwhile to be able to talk with some of us. So baby steps. I really think we need to go little by little, chipping away. They are going to red pill them, everybody, because they can't help themselves. They go after their own. They are cannibals.
Yeah, and I mean, if you try and just be nice to people, it helps a lot as well. Like, I was talking to a few people about the writing community, not the, it seems to be the only creative arts thing that we haven't touched on, because you've even got people like Bill Sienkiewicz, or however you say it. He's like an artist, and you've got Nakatomi Tim, who is an actual artist. But novel writing, doesn't appear to factor into this much. And I talk to a lot of writers online, and they seem to be very timid about talking about these things too. And so I was worried maybe I should censor myself and win them over a little bit. And I thought, no, I'm going to keep saying what I'm saying, but I'm going to keep being nice to these people as well, and let them see that we're not all evil demons.
Yes, exactly. And can you blame them for not wanting to talk about it? They are risking their jobs, man.
Yeah, and they're risking, if they're self-published, they're risking alienating an audience, which they think they will do, but they don't realize that the anti-culture brigade are far noisier, but
Yes.
they're not more of them.
Yes, exactly.
Empty vessels make the most noise, as they say.
Yes, and the thing is, little by little, people are going to start waking up, opening their eyes to the truth. You know, do you see the stuff about Kingdom Come?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm making a video about that because it's really, really relevant to our struggle too. But that's a video more trying to talk to the creators, to the writers, to the artists, to the editor, to the people that are not crazy, but are scared of the crazy ones.
Yes, exactly, and that's exactly the same thing with the writing. Because a lot of them are. This is the thing with. If we behave like the straw men are true, and we're timid about it, then it will look badly on us. So when I click on another writer's profile and I see they're a liberal, my initial reaction is, oh, maybe I shouldn't engage this person because they're a liberal and they might think I'm an asshole and all that sort of stuff. But the thing is, that then is me accepting the insult that I am somehow a right-wing, straight, white male Nazi person.
Yeah,
but that's not true. So I'm going to behave like it's not true, and I'm going to engage this person who might be a liberal. And sure enough, most of the time it's fine, and I get on fine with the person because they just want to talk like everybody else does.
The only answer when they tell you that stuff that you could give, the only answer is no, and you are an asshole for saying that with no evidence about me. But that's not really an answer that you should be giving that much, you know, because it could get you banned. So you have to find ways of saying the same thing without recurring to insulting them. You know, not because they're fifis, but because of strategy. You know, I don't care about their fifis. I don't care about your fifis, and I like you. You know, but I don't really care about your fifis. I care about the fifis of my family, and not all the time.
It's been said many times that I am not in possession of fifis, so it's okay.
Okay, very well. Very well. So I don't care about that. I care about the facts, you know. I care about the truth, you know. That's why I get mad sometimes when people go off with a happy trigger and oh, this is an SJW book, and I go read it and read it again, and then a third time, and I say, no, you're wrong. It's not an SJW book because it's not there. I don't know if you got the whole speech I gave on the start, but an SJW character is a certain type of character. It's not because it's black or lesbian or Latina or whatever, you know. It's not because of that it's an SJW character. It's an SJW character because it's a Marisu or a Gary Stu.
It's when it stops being about storytelling and starts being about telling you something, like telling you what to think.
To you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The SJW thing is a propaganda thing, and it's very. This is the other thing, right? People say I'm not like having a go at people on our side who say this. It's just I'm wanting to refine it a little bit. But people say the way you tell a good story is you show one side, then you show the other side, and then you let the audience make up their mind. And in fact, you don't actually have to show both sides, so long as you still let the audience make up their own mind. You can only show one side if you want to and still make a great story. Lord of the Rings, for example, didn't show Sauron's side of events, did it? Still fantastic story.
Yes.
It didn't, yes. But it let you make up your own mind about things.
But you have to make a good allegory then. in order to skip showing both sides. In Superman, the last two books, 40 and 41, many were, oh, wow, it's against religion, and from the 40 issue. And I said, nope, it's against fanatism, not against religion. And issue number 41 proved that I was right. It was against fanatism. It wasn't against religion. It wasn't against science either. So it was a really, really good book in my opinion, because it showed a lot of a very complex issue, that they didn't have to address per se. It wasn't required. They wanted to, And somebody told me that the writer is an atheist. I don't know if that's true, but if that's true, then the artist is a fair people, because he didn't want to say, oh, religious people are stupid, like some atheists do. He wanted to say, okay, be religious, but don't be fanatic. You can be religious and think that science is real and has truth to it.
Well, there's lots of straw man arguments with the atheists and the theists, as much as there are in the comics.
Yes, exactly, and in both sides too. Huh?
Yeah, exactly.
I have many.
There's nothing wrong with being religious, and in fact, I have a lot of friends and a lot in common with people who are religious, because the religion is neither here nor there. It's in fact usually the reasons for believing in religion that make me have stuff in common to them. The reason would be they have a belief in good and bad objectively. They have a belief in the sanctity of life. Absolutely. They have a belief in selflessness. Absolutely. And those are things I like. Whereas an atheist,
selflessness is a bad thing. And we can have the discussion another time. This is a political discussion more than political and philosophical, more than a religious one. But being 100% selfless is a bad thing.
Oh yeah, no, sure. I'm just meaning that it doesn't matter that they believe in God. That's almost by the by. It's the reasons. So if an atheist, for instance, if they are fanatical and a zealot and don't think critically,
so an SJW,
they're just as bad. Yeah, exactly. They're just as bad as a religious person, yes, exactly, who's a fanatic.
Yes. The thing is, many non-believers think that we should fight religion. We should eradicate it. But I don't think so. I think that even if it's true that there is no God, that I don't know if that is true, and I haven't ever said that I know that there is no God. I don't believe. It's a different kind of claim. Faith against knowledge, two different things. But even if it were true that there is no God, then we evolved in a certain way that makes us believe. You can't find any primitive society that doesn't have some kind of religion.
Yeah.
And if we evolved in that way, then we need some kind of religion, most of us, in order to behave in certain ways, because it's it's the first kind of law, and the first kind of authority. And not all people can say, okay, I don't believe in this because it doesn't make sense to me, and not change that belief system for another that doesn't make sense either, but they need to believe in something. That's why SJWs claim to be atheist, but they are in a cult, a secular cult, because there's no God. They only have a demon. The white, straight, hetero capitalist patriarchy.
Yeah, and this is, if you look at the rhetoric and you look at all the stuff, they thrive on negativity, but not on confrontation, which I find very interesting. And that's what makes them bullies. They thrive on making other people feel bad and themselves feel bad, and they thrive on bad emotions, bullying, negativity, slurs, insults, but they can't stand any kind of competition or confrontation. That's why they have to deplatform us or block us or whatever all the time.
Yes.
They cannot handle, and that's why I think that it's a mentality thing, because if somebody was to be a Comicsgate person and they were to behave like that, then they're just as bad. It's about your behavior, and there is a way of behaving where you cannot handle any kind of confrontation at all, which is extremely unhealthy.
Yes, there are SJWs in the left and there are SJWs in the right. The thing is, right now, the left is in power, both in politics and in the society at large, because somehow we allowed the myth that communism isn't that bad to survive, and communism is bad. Okay, it's an utopian philosophy, and every single utopian philosophy ends up bad. Always. It does.
Yeah, and you make a good point as well. Like, I am, as you know, try to get away from the I get away from the SJW label just because it's scaring off liberal people that would otherwise agree with us. But it is a good term, and there are people of that mentality on every side, every corner you care to mention, because it's that mentality I was describing of, that bullying combined with that desire to never be challenged, and also, like you say, it's about authority figures. I was saying the other day about how I'm sick of seeing politics all over Twitter. It's the reason it used to be impolite to discuss your politics unless asked is because it's both embarrassing and you don't have the answers. And exactly. I'm forced to talk about politics sometimes because of other people creating things that are full of politics, but nobody knows anything about my politics. People think they do because they think I'm a conservative because I attack liberal authority figures all the time, to which I always correct them. Yes, because all the authority figures are liberal. If they were right-wing, I would be attacking them.
Yeah.
It's about standing up to authority figures.
Yes, exactly. You need to keep the power in check.
Yep.
And if the power is in the left, you have to be against the power, because otherwise they grow too powerful, and then it's too late.
And then they kill all the fun.
And the people too.
Oh, yes, there's that.
Oh, yes.
Look, and this is the thing.
They say
it's a good point, right? People, you're going on about killing people, and they want, people might go, oh, but it's just comics. It's like, yeah, but propaganda is a big thing. That's why they want the comics.
Yes.
And I'm not saying we're going to save the world with Comicsgate, but we have to stand up to this mentality wherever we find it, be it in film and the arts, or be it in the street with people doing marches. Wherever you find it, you have to stand up against it.
Yes, exactly. And here's the thing, okay? They went after Malin because he said they were like Nazis. Okay?
Yeah, exactly. And they didn't like that at all, did they?
No. Nobody likes to be forced to confront their inner demons. Now, here's the thing, okay? Nazis didn't start killing Jews from day one. What they did first was say, okay, here's a problem. And this group of people are to be blamed. Yes?
Yep.
Okay. What
The
are
scapegoat.
yes, exactly. What are the SJWs doing? The same thing. Here's a problem in society. Who's to blame? White, straight men. Here's another problem in society. Who's to blame? White, straight men. Okay? And here's the thing. People that are not really SJWs started believing the propaganda. Okay? Then we get discrimination against straight white men because it's seen as a good thing to do by society, to discriminate against the devil. Okay? That was the second step for the Nazis too. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then the Nazis did the ghettos. Okay? What are they asking for now? They are asking for segregation. They are asking for having spaces for POC. How I hate that fucking words. People of color. What's the difference between that and colored people?
Yeah, that bugs me as well. I don't get it.
Fuck.
I just say the race that I mean.
and they did that, you know. They are doing that right now. They are asking for white people to be apart from them. They are asking for segregation, but they aren't asking for segregation against them. They are asking for segregation against white people.
Yeah, and there's an interesting thing.
And
right? You said people of color.
The next step are the trains and the gas chambers. Okay, that's the next step if they manage to get the segregation going.
Yeah, and they can justify this all in their heads. They always justify it.
Exactly.
And I mean, we're getting slightly. I think we're getting slightly overly serious, but we're not. We're just following it through to its logical conclusion. We're not being alarmist.
It's what you should do with any ideological.
Yeah, it's a thought experiment. But
yes, exactly.
The thing that I like, I know English is a second language too, and I don't want to presume things, but I know that you may or may not be aware of this, but like I like playing with words, and if you put people of color, right? If you put the something of something, the second something is the most important part of the sentence. So if you say colored people, people don't like that term because it was used as an insult, and I understand that. But let's just work with this here. If you say colored people, you're saying, you know, the colored is a descriptor and the people is the important part. If you say people of color, you're saying that the people are just coincidental and it's the of color part. They are of color, and the color is the important thing.
Well, remember,
and that's what really bugs me about that term.
Remember that these people are racist. They are.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And what I mean is, even on a linguistic level, they don't even realize it. You know, that they've put the color as the important part of that sentence.
I didn't know that. I didn't know.
Yeah,
that.
I just like I'm strange and I like playing around with words in my head. But like you know the phrase, for example, people of influence. What you're trying to say when you say that is you're trying to say that the influence they have is important, not the people. You know.
Yes.
So let's change that to people of color. It's the color they are, not the people.
Yes, that's why they need us in our boxes.
Yes, exactly. You know, when Aragorn in Lord of the Rings shouts "Men of the West," it's because he's wanting to protect the West. The West is the important thing. The men are just the thing that are holding it up. And so again, you know, people of color. It's
that's why they can be as white as a sheet and still dismiss a black person.
Yes, exactly, because
they can be straight and dismiss
people aren't
gay. you know, because the people isn't important. They want to be able to talk for you, and you didn't vote them in power. They
Yeah, and
want
like Rebirth
power.
was saying there, it's just like, oh, did I just have an ethnicity change there? You know, like they just. I mean, there's been people
They need
all over
to
Twitter that call
dismiss.
them Uncle Toms and everything like that. And it's just like,
Yes,
you're white. You don't get to say that.
yes, yes, exactly. But they get to say that if it's against the right kind of black people.
Well, there's another thing. An Uncle Tom is a euphemism, isn't it? What is it a euphemism for? It's a euphemism for race traitor. What other group uses the term
Exactly.
race traitor? Hmm?
Yes. They,
I can
two
think of
sides,
one.
two sides of the same ugly coin.
Yep.
Okay? They are two sides of the same ugly coin. Black Panther, oh, so great. Wakanda, oh, so great. Already, Wakanda is an ethno state. It's what the white supremacists want to.
Yep.
So if you like a black ethno state, why don't you like a white ethno state?
It makes me chuckle as well because it's in Africa, but the people who are, and this is where the color thing comes into it, because they don't care about race, ethnicity, etc. It's just a color thing, which is abstract. They don't care about Africans.
No.
They care about, well, blacks or whatever they're calling
No,
this
they don't
special
care
group of people, right? But an American black person is not the same as an African black person. An African black person is not the same as another African black person. So
Well,
they're exporting their own poisonous ideology onto
Yes.
this other culture that they know nothing about. They don't know anything about African culture.
Yes, exactly.
I said at the very beginning of the first Black Panther trailer, if a white man had made these costumes, he would be deemed a racist because they are so cartoonish in the way they look.
Yes.
And it was clearly made by somebody who'd just thought, how can I make this look as African as possible?
And the most stupid thing, okay, it's the most advanced civilization in the world, and they live, most of them live like tribesmen in Africa.
Yeah, whereas if you go and look at Kenya, they're all wearing, well, not all of them, but they wear suits and they live in developed cities and they have airports.
Exactly. Yeah, and they use spears and blades. What? Why not guns? What no? Why not lasers?
Did you see it? I think they do have like laser guns or something, like the spears fire lasers or something like that.
But it's a stupid weapon. Okay, it's just as stupid as the lightsabers, and now you can all unsubscribe. It's just as stupid. Okay, in the Jedi, it's because something, the Force, something. Okay, it's an honorable
cool.
weapon.
It's a cheesy yet cool idea. And I mean, I have nothing. I don't think there's anything wrong with.
If it was a stuff that only the priests use, for instance, you know, I would say, okay. If it was only for ceremonies, I would go, okay. But to really fight with a spear, come on, against guns?
Yeah. And like, it's just because they wanted to make it look cool. I said to, I think it was actually Switchpoint again, I was saying to him, it reminds me of, I can't obviously speak on behalf of Africans, I don't know how they feel about it, but as an outsider looking at all this, it's kind of like, I imagine it as a Scotsman, if you were to say like it's this super secret section of the Highlands that's super far advanced, we've got rocket ships and we've got lasers, but for some reason we're wearing kilts. I would feel a little bit insulted that you're just like, well, we don't wear kilts, we wear normal clothes.
Yeah.
And it seemed like that to me, where they're wearing these just caricature outfits.
Did you know that most of African people, I mean the blacks in Africa, okay, hate the black Americans?
Well, I've heard them refer to Black Americans as white people before, which I find hysterical.
Yes.
Which is quite racist of them as well. But it shows you that
racism is everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just you can't blame them in some senses, because these Americans, I know they're black, but they're Americans.
Yes, and they are
saying that they are African.
The most like their shit doesn't smell there.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to accuse me of racism for saying that sort of thing, go and come to Scotland, right? And say that you have a Scottish ancestor, like to my American people. Come to Scotland, say you have an a Scottish ancestor, and that makes you Scottish, and watch all the people laugh at you and roll their eyes. Okay, that's how I imagine the black people in Africa feel about the black people in America. Culture.
Being Scottish is a culture. Not
yes,
not about.
It's a mixture. It's a vague thing, It's a country, but it's also a culture, but it's an ethnicity.
Culture. As well. But it's more of a culture, If both my parents were Scots, and they come to Mexico and they give birth to me, I'm not Scottish. I don't know the culture. I don't know. Yeah.
And so I'm extrapolating, and I'm guessing a little bit due to the fact I am not an African, but I imagine that's how the Africans feel when the Americans talk about them that way.
Yeah, and they presume to know how Africans think and feel.
Yes, and that annoys me, because if they get away with it because of their skin color, and that's unfair on the Africans, and it's unfair on everybody else of every other skin color ever.
And it's unfair on the Black Americans that are not crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's for anybody.
Honest, I believe most Black Americans are not crazy. It's just a few bad apples, a noisy few bad apples.
Yeah, and I mean, we have loads of black people who are waking up to this tokenism. I mean, they're pretty much, if they're not able to make money out of it, they're pretty much awake to this fact that that you've got that guy who was making the Black Panther cartoon or something, and then you've got Ta-Nehisi Coates and all these people, and they can't think in any other terms other than the color of their skin.
Yes.
And they're using it to make money. And
yes,
then if a normal black person sees that and they're not making money out of it, then they're like, who the fuck is this guy? What is he thinking? And I mean, we know that. I mean, go talk to Mr. E on our Discord. He thinks these people are full of shit. And he's not a white Christian conservative. And he thinks they're full of shit. They don't speak for him.
Not only him, just some guy. He's black too.
Yeah, of course, yeah. See, that's how much I care about race. I'd actually forgotten that.
Yes, I know. I had to stop and think about who else, because I don't give a damn.
Because of his avatar, I always think of just some guy as being basically Iron Fist, because the mask is so similar.
Yes, it looks like.
But yes, so
and these people are really stupid, and they are going to end up red pilling everybody,
Yep. So use that hashtag of not today Satan as well. Keep using that.
Yes, that's a good idea. Yes.
And do not engage is another one.
Yes. We need to stop giving them the ammo and the attention they want.
That's why sometimes you do have to spread things, because sometimes it's a case of warning people, but generally speaking...
But you talk about, not to.
Yes.
So you're not engaging, really.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's actually true, yeah. So do it that way.
Yeah. You're talking about them, not engaging with them. And please, if you wish to, try to stop using those stupid terms like man in a wig. It's not making us look good in the eyes of anybody. And really, there's no need. because they have so many things to be criticized about. You know, talk about their character, talk about how they are a bigot, how they are they want to do violence against people. You know,
Hmm.
but their physical characteristics or their sexuality or stuff, who cares? I don't care who you bump uglies with. Really, honestly, I don't care. I
Well,
don't care if you're
again,
a
look
Christian.
at Visaggio, right?
Yeah,
Would never have had any publicity if it wasn't given to her.
yes, exactly.
Her book is trash, or her book was trash. Her new book is even more trash. Nobody's buying it at all. It's being ordered in like basically zero numbers, but nobody's buying it. So why do we even know that name? Because it's being spread around. And I'm not saying that it's anybody's fault. I'm
She
just
needs.
saying, just take a minute before you share this stuff of why does this person matter? If Brian Michael Bendis says, let's bash in the heads of all the straight white men, okay, we might
No.
have a point because
Well,
he
was
sells hundreds of thousands.
She was working in Marvel. You know, she was an editor there, and therefore I do believe she needed to be talked about, but she wasn't talked about in the way that she should be talked about. You know.
Yeah, and hindsight is
Yes,
always
yes, yes, yes,
a
yes, yes.
wonderful thing.
But
But I'm just saying there
if
will be
we
more
don't,
people like that,
yes, and
and
if
I'm
we
seeing
don't
them all the
look
time,
back,
and I'm
if we don't look back and learn from our mistakes, then we're doomed. You know,
yeah.
we need to look back and say, okay, this was a mistake. I'm not going to do it again.
Yeah, and we've got a few people who are what I mean is that the Mags thing is kind of over and done, and that's fine. She's a figure now, for better or worse. But what I'm saying is there's going to be more of people like that, and it's our job to do not engage on our own side of if you see somebody saying, "Oh, look at this clown, let's all laugh at this person and retweet their silly." No,
No, no, no,
because
no.
you're making this person
Who's
have
that
publicity
person?
they wouldn't have got,
Yes, exactly. Who's that person?
and they might get a job out of it.
Exactly. So you're not hurting them. You're helping them.
Yeah, exactly, because
Smart.
you're basically putting them as this thing that needs to be protected by the anti-culture side,
Exactly.
and so they'll all rally around them. And if they rally around them, then they'll try and lift them up and make them a symbol of, oh, look, we're beating these nasty racist people again by giving this person a job that they didn't earn.
Exactly.
So
be smart.
just
be smart.
Yeah.
Be smart. That's all. And again, if you wish to engage and you wish to call them names, okay. I have really. I'm not going to be casting stones. I'm not going to be the police. I'm not going to say, "Oh, you're not part of." No, 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 no. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, try to be smart. Try to fight smart, because this is a fight, and we are fighting for way more than just comics. We are fighting really for Western values, not Christian values, Western values.
Yeah, just we're fighting for the right to free speech. Simple as.
Yes.
Whether that free speech is in
But
politics, comics, books,
if you
art.
don't have free speech, you don't have any rights in the long run.
Yes, because now who was it that said? I think it was George Orwell said that which cannot be expressed cannot be thought. And if you don't have freedom of speech, you do not have freedom of thought.
Exactly.
And if you don't have freedom of thought, then you're basically just a slave.
I made a meme for México Libertario, México Libertarian, or Libertarian Mexico, however you want to. Okay. And it's a meme about socialists, conservatives, libertarians, or liberals, real liberals, not socialists disguised as, and communist, fascist. Okay. And it goes something like this: socialists don't care who you fuck with; they care who you do business with. Conservatives don't care who you do business with, but do care who do you fuck with. Libertarians and real liberals don't care about any of that. And fascists want to tell you who you can or cannot do business with or fuck with. Okay? And these people are fascist. Just go and search for Riley Dennis. If you don't want to fuck with a trans woman, then you are a bigot. What? What? Are you aware that you are saying the same thing that the Christians were saying about gays? That they could choose not to be gay? Because if I, as a straight man, can choose not to be straight, then you, as a gay person, as a trans person, can choose not to. And the worst part is that we are the majority.
Yeah, gay, but we need to act like it and get people to value what they have.
Gay people are how many? 3-5% of the population, maybe? Gays and lesbians.
Oh, I think it's about 12.
Well, okay, 12%.
But it's around that if you half them. So you've got, because half of 12 is a 6, and then so it's 6% of each type.
Yes, around. And trans people are not even 1% of the population in the world. Okay, so if you're trying to make the majority to do certain things, you are going to end up in a really, really bad place. And you are a stupid person because you are fucking up everything that the non-bigots fought for.
Well, the thing I said as soon as this started becoming a mainstream issue was I was saying to somebody, you know, if they can take something as scientifically and socially simple as that is a man and that is a woman, and they can force you to say otherwise, not convince you, force you to say otherwise, then what else can they force you to think?
Yes, exactly.
Doesn't matter after that point.
Yes,
they can force you to say that. They can force you to say the Earth is flat. They can force you to say, you know,
they anything. Are. Some of them they are already saying that there's not a biological sex.
Yeah, there's no such thing as science, and science is a racist Western invention. It's just, this is why we have to look after our corner of media, because I mean we're straying off into the long grass a little bit there again, but you know that's where it leads. If we don't look after our patch and don't get to express ourselves freely on our patch, that's where it leads. If nobody stands up for anything, then you be as well letting them have the lot.
If you're not willing to fight for your entertainment, then you're not really willing to fight for anything, because they are going to come first for the easy stuff, you know, for the stuff that many people are going to say, oh, it's just comics, it's just D&D, you know, and little by little you will have a very different culture, a very, very different culture.
Well, Razorfist said a few years ago that there's no coincidence that it's the same people that are coming after both your guns and your games.
Yes, exactly.
Because they're both kind of give people a sense of freedom. You know, you can argue the guns thing. I'm not going to argue the guns thing, but
I'm in favor of. I'm in favor of.
Yeah, same. But I'm sick of hearing about it. Honestly, like I'm not interested in your views on it. I'm just kind of exhausted by the whole thing.
Yeah, me too. Me too. It's
there's no coincidence that these people are the same people that want your free speech,
and
your games, and your self-defense all taken away from you.
And they are so Puritan, you know.
Yeah, and what's the best way to get you to give it up is to convince you it's not important.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, it's just comics. Oh, it's just games. Well, okay, I guess it's not that important. Here, have it. Oh, shit, I've not got anything anymore at all.
Yes, exactly. And if you don't have any entertainment, then you will go crazy, because you need to be able to disconnect from your problems, you know. You need to be able to forget about that stuff. That's what I dislike them the most, because instead of me being able to buy a Spider-Man comic and read it and enjoy it, I have to stop reading that because it's shit. I have to stop buying that because it's shit, because it's propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not happy about that. I'm not in the very least happy. I
Yeah, you
want.
have to be able to switch off,
Yes.
and not just that, because you have to be able to explore ideas in a sort of non-literal way too. So if they're
Yeah.
discussing literal talking points all
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
time, then you can't escape it, and it drives you mad.
And many of the issues they bring up are really just a wedge, you know.
Yeah, and it's like this, the
It's to
theory of play in psychology. You know how
it's to
children
stop you
play.
from talking about other stuff,
Yes, yes.
you know.
But they talk about how children play in psychology because they need to work through certain issues, and they can't do that in a literal sense, so they do it in by playing. And my stance, and I think this is fairly mainstream now, is that adults, you never stop doing that. Adults do it too. They do it in the form of films, television, games, things like that. It's okay. We're not playing with action figures anymore, but we're doing the same thing. We're working through things in our brains by turning it into something else that isn't literal. And if they're making it literal all the time, you're not going to be able to process anything. And
Yes.
then they get to tell you what to think because you just can't handle it anymore.
Yes, exactly.
But
It's a great
I am going to have to head off, I'm afraid.
Yeah, me too. My
But
dog
I
needs to
appreciate
go out.
you having me on. So
Well, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yep, and just if you have any final thoughts, I was wondering before I leave.
Just be smart, fight smart, think before you type. Yes, really, I have made it too. Okay, I have made the same mistake too. So I'm not saint, I'm no leader. It's a suggestion. If you want to take it like that, if you don't, well, it's your right to do so too. We don't
But
have
you'd
to
be doing
agree
them
in
a favor.
everything. Sorry?
But you'd be doing them a favor if you
Yes,
if you don't take that advice.
Yes, I think so. I honestly.
Well, thank you very much again. If you're continuing to stream, I'll continue to listen. But for
No,
the
I
speaking
have
part,
to.
I have things to do.
I have to go out. My doggy is biting my feet because he wants to go out.
Poor dog.
Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you very much for having me on, and I'm sure I'll speak to you again soon.
Thank you. Thank you for coming by.
Goodbye, my man.
Goodbye. So, Switchpoint, Tehilim, Revered, who was a commander. Who else was there? Revered, Commander, Switchpoint, Crumple Point, Alterna Comics fan #1 was there too. Florence, my man. Nerdy Texan Accountant. Hi, man. Love you too. James Brown. Lime Dragonfly. Okay, to all of you and everybody else that was maybe listening and didn't get in the chat, thank you for coming by. Thank you for listening. And I'll see you soon. Goodbye.